So over the past weeks and months, I've had multiple people reach out to me asking me about different salt and brine removers. Should you use them on the bottom of your vehicle? Do they work better than just, regular car wash soap? Things like that. So that's kind of what we're going to take a look at in this video. But first thing right off the bat, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't see a huge value with using these products on your vehicle. The reason that I say that is if you are treating the bottom of your car with some sort of lanolin or oil-based undercoating, the salt and the brine is sitting on top of that lanolin-based undercoating and it's never making it to the metal. So washing it off with some sort of salt remover doesn't really help you at all. I've never washed the bottom of my vehicles. I do not wash the bottom of my vehicles once I've sprayed them with lanolin-based undercoating. And you guys have seen, if you follow my channel, you have seen the condition that this truck has been in for the past 5 years. I don't wash the bottom of this thing. You don't need these products if you're treating with some sort of undercoat. With that said, I had people reaching out to me, like I said, wanted to know about these products. So that's kind of what we're going to explore here. Now, as far as products are concerned, one of the common comments I see online about any of these salt and brine removers is how do they compare to traditional car wash soap? So we're also going to make that comparison in this video. So this is Chemical Guys Maxi Suds 2. This is just, the car wash soap that I have at the house. And we're going to see how traditional car wash soap compares to these other products. So as far as the other salt and brine removers that we're going to be testing, I have NHOU Salt and Brine Eliminator, Star Brite Salt Off, 303 Salt Neutralizing Wash Boost, Salt Away, and finally the product that I get the most questions about as far as salt and brine remover, Salt Gone. So we're going to take a look at every one of these, see how they perform, see what works, see what doesn't, and we're going to ultimately find out, are they worth your time and money? Now, as far as how I'm doing the testing in this video, I'm going to do the testing in this video the exact same way that I did the testing in the previous video that I shot on salt removers about 3 years ago. So what I'm doing is I'm dividing sections of my tailgate off with masking tape, and each section of the tailgate is going to get treated with a different product. And to try and keep the results, as clean as possible and not have any cross-contamination, I'm also dividing each section off with like just a garbage bag to try and keep, each product divided from one another. So you can make a direct A, B, C, D comparison, one versus the other, what did better, what did worse. The other thing you have to remember too is when I'm using water in this testing, I'm using the lightest possible pressure from my garden hose that I can use. So I'm using like the mist setting on my garden sprayer, just because using high pressure water in itself is going to remove a bunch of salt and a bunch of dirt. I want to see how well the cleaners work by themselves. I don't want to see the cleaner plus a bunch of pressure. The pressure just introduces another variable to the testing. The final thing I'm also going to test is 2 of these products also claim they provide corrosion resistance. Spoiler alert, they don't, but we're going to go over that when we talk about each product. So that's enough of me yakking. Let's get into the results. So coming in 6th place, it's really going to be no surprise, is the standard garden hose. This, as you would imagine, on a mist setting with extremely low pressure, really didn't do a whole lot to the dirt, the salt, the grime that was built up on the back of the tailgate. This to me was sort of the control for the test. Everything in the test needed to do better than this, and realistically everything in the test did. The water sample was by far the dirtiest of anything I tested here. Did it clean? Absolutely. There wasn't definite difference between an unclean section of my truck and the section that I hit with water. But the section that I hit with the water just wasn't nearly as clean as some of the other sections that I treated with cleaners, as you would imagine. So 5th place is going to be a tie. I did not see any performance difference between these 2 products. So this is the 303 and this is the Salt Away. Like I said, performance-wise, visually, I saw no difference between the 2. Starting off with the 303. So the 303 is marketed as a booster for your standard car wash soap. And here's the thing, I wanted to see how well just the booster worked by itself. And honestly, regular car wash soap outperformed this stuff by itself. It's cheap. I guess that's the biggest pro I have for it. I think it's like 13 bucks for this, and it'll last a really long time, but I really don't see any huge gains from using this stuff. Performance-wise with the Salt Away was pretty much exactly the same as the 303 product. And my thing is with the Salt Away, they list a bunch of different dilution ratios on the back of this package. They list anywhere from a 5% to 20% dilution ratio. So when you leave a window that wide, it's going to vary, you know, depending on what your dilution ratio is. The product does work. It works okay. I've used it in the past, in the previous video that I talked about. It really comes down to how potent you're making your wash with this stuff is directly correlated with how well it's going to work. So in fourth place for salt and brine removers, believe it or not, is going to be standard car wash soap. I was actually pretty impressed with how well this particular Chemical Guys pH neutral car wash soap removes salt. The reason that I say that is the recommended dilution ratio on this bottle is 1 ounce per 5-gallon bucket, and that is the dilution ratio that I used on my truck. It worked halfway decent. It wasn't great, but it wasn't the worst thing out there. One thing I do have to say about car wash soap is if you are looking to use car wash soap to remove salt, you need to take a look at the SDS information. And the reason that I say that is a lot of these lotion soaps that you see, they use salt as a thickening agent in the soap. So if you're trying to remove salt off of your vehicle, you don't want to use a soap that has a bunch of salt in it because you're literally trying to wash off salt with salt.
So what I have on the screen here is Meguiar's Gold Class Car Wash Shampoo and Conditioner. So this is their SDS sheet. And if I scroll down the SDS sheet, if you look section 3, composition information, they actually list sodium salt on there twice. That is how much salt is in that product. Granted, it's only between 1 and 5% in each listing, so it may have 10% salt in it. Unfortunately, you know, you really have no way of knowing, but soap manufacturers do in fact use salt as a thickening agent. So trying to wash off salt with salt probably isn't a good idea.
I hope that makes sense. I literally worked at a soap factory for 8 years. You would not believe the amount of salt that goes into lotion soap to make it thicker. So just keep that in the back of your mind if you're looking to use standard car wash soap in an application like this. Make sure you're not just adding more salt to the surface. So in third place is going to be the Star Brite Salt Off Concentrate. One thing I can say about this product, guys, is it is mixed at a much lower dilution ratio. So this is mixed at 22:1, whereas the standard car wash soap that we just talked about was 128:1. So as you would imagine, this works a little bit better than standard car wash soap and some of the other stuff that we've already talked about, simply because the dilution ratio is so much stronger. With that said, guys, they do claim that there's a protective coating left on the vehicle. I found that to not be true whatsoever. What I did was I sprayed down a test panel and just let it sit on there and sort of like air dry. And then I just hit that test panel with a corrosive solution, and it pretty much corroded pretty much instantaneously. So the fact that they say, it's going to protect the surface and keep it from rusting further, that's a load of marketing crap. It's not true. Overall, it's a decent product, but there's some better stuff coming up if you're looking for, sort of the ultimate salt and brine remover solution. So these next 3 products that we're going to talk about here were all extremely close to one another as far as performance is concerned. So much so that, I was doing this testing on the back of my truck, and some of this testing I had to do sort of like on the bedsides near the tail light. Other parts I had to do on the tailgate. And what I was finding was these 3 products were obviously working better than a lot of the other ones that I just talked about. And I had to make a direct A-B-C comparison with them right next to one another to be able to see what worked better. So what I did was I took all 3 of these products and did the exact same test on the driver's side door of my truck. So in that testing, I found that, like I said, these products are extremely similar, and it would really almost come down to lighting as far as which one performs better than another. Second place is going to be a two-way tie, and first thing is going to be Salt and Brine Eliminator from NHOU. This is one of the products that to me got second place. It's a good product, but you have to mix it at like 5-to-1. So you're going to use a ton of this stuff to get good performance. And the other issue is this stuff is $50 a gallon. So not really that cost effective to use this stuff weekly. Maybe like once a year if you want to do it, sure, go for it. But it's just too expensive to use all the time. What I actually found that performed just as good as this product was, believe it or not, distilled white vinegar. And what I did was I mixed it in a concoction. So what I did was I took distilled white vinegar, mixed it 4-to-1 with tap water, and then I added in my car wash soap on top of that to just give it some lubricity. So that combination of vinegar at 4-to-1 with some car wash soap added performed just as well as the NHOU Salt and Brine Eliminator that is $50 a gallon. So that's up to you, whatever you guys want to do, but what you have to understand is vinegar is pretty acidic. So if you've got wax, ceramic coating, things like that on your vehicle, probably not your best option. But then again, if you're looking to use, some sort of strip wash at the end of the winter, that's a viable option. You will get great performance just adding vinegar to your wash bucket. The other thing that you can use the vinegar for is you can use it to clean the carpets in your car. If you have a salt stain in your car on the carpets from getting in and out all the time, tracking in salt, if you mix the vinegar with some water, work it into the carpet, it'll break down the salt in the carpet. So as far as salt's concerned, vinegar is a great option. So that really only leaves one other product, and that is going to be Salt's Gone. Guys, I was pretty impressed by this product. It did a very minutely better job than the NHOU or the vinegar solution that I came up with. And when I say minute, I mean it was extremely subtle. You would have to be in the right lighting to be able to tell the difference between these products and this product. Hopefully I'm able to convey this to you guys on camera, but it was very minutely cleaner than the other two products I have behind me. My biggest issue with this product is its price. So it is between $60 and $65 for a gallon of this stuff. But with that said, you can dilute it at 100-to-1. So when you compare that to NHOU at $50 a gallon diluted at 5-to-1, this is quite a bit cheaper per gallon. The other thing that they say right on the label is it's safe on waxes and ceramic coatings. I was not able to verify that. I don't have any long-term data to support that. One thing they do say on their website and on their label, that they label it a protectant. On their website, they claim it has corrosion resistance. So Salt's Gone. If you're watching this, I would love for you guys to comment and let us know how this stuff has corrosion resistance, because in the testing that I did with it, that's not true in the slightest. So feel free to enlighten us on your corrosion testing, because as far as I'm concerned, it's bull. So guys, that is what I have for salt and brine removers. As always, guys, I will have links down in the description to all the products, to the sprayer that I used in this video, if you guys want to check any of that stuff out. As always, guys, if you guys like the video, hit like. If you want to see more content, go down and hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.